because there's some feelings I've had about Jennifer that I haven't had with any other girl. Even the girl that I have like been in love with all my life since I was in high school. But with Jennifer, I had some feelings that I've never had with anybody. The kind of, so there was that song, by Garth Brooks, and it was called Unanswered Prayers. Now, not that I wouldn't want my high school sweetheart to, and she wasn't actually my high school sweetheart, but we were best friends and together every day. She was my high school sweetheart. I guess I wasn't hers, but I think at the time she was trying to say something. I used to go over to her house every day. She'd take a shower, and she'd come out of the shower and wrapped in a white towel every day, like she was saying, "You're supposed to marry me, Sandy." Anyways, but when that song, Garth Brooks, Unanswered Prayer, man, I felt that with Jennifer. I was so happy to be with Jennifer. I loved her very much. And it's not that it was, every relationship that I've had that was like a long time relationship, I've been very true love, right? But that was one thing that I felt with her that I didn't feel with somebody else. I didn't. I was really very thankful that my life took all the directions and whatever it did to become, you know, so that she's my wife or my wife. I was very happy about that. Anyways, so my mom was trying to ask her. She kept trying to say, well, how you doing? How you doing? I didn't want to talk to her about my life. I talked to her about other things, but I didn't want to talk to her about my life because she never calls. So why would I talk to her about my life? I talk to about my life with my friends. So I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to say, hey, this is what it's going to be like when we're dead. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're doing. I mean, they do have a church that does a lot of stuff, dead works. They did work for the dead and stuff like that. So maybe they're just trying to want me to know what it's going to be like when they're dead. I don't know what they're trying to educate me on, though, because I know a lot more about what happens when they die than... Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not just trying to sit here and play high and mighty. That's never been my thing. If you were to say, call me God right now, and say that I wouldn't act high and mighty to you, even if you had the right faith that you would be able to say that. It never had any thought to be, high and mighty. But maybe high and mighty is a good thing. I don't know. Not in that kind of way, the way that I'm talking about. So yeah, what a weird thing, And I used to try and call or email Jennifer all the time on Mother's Day, and she never answered and stuff like that. And then after me and Brenda split up, I would call her every Mother's Day or text her a little thing that said Mother's Day or Happy Mother's Day or something like that. But I'm not doing that anymore because she don't care. It's not they don't ever call me and say Happy Father's Day or anything. So but this is just the experience of my life, and I'm not trying to change anybody. I would like some people to change, but I'm not trying to change anybody. If they want to live their life and treat me like crap, well, they just do that by themselves, but they can't do it with me. You know, it's just like you don't get to call me, you know, be rude or neglectful of me and just me say, okay, you could just be a part of my life and treat me however you feel like you're gonna treat me, no matter how rude or mean it is. I just not doing that anymore. But I don't have any anger or um, hatred. I have, there's certainly some sadness and disappointment about some of that stuff. Um, it makes me sad that my folks don't ever call. Um, Families can be, there's such a, the, the, they don't like to say Mormon church. Now, you want to know how not led by God the Mormon church is. They don't want to be called Mormons anymore. They don't want people to say I'm a Mormon. Now, if they were led by me, if they were led by God, they would love the idea of saying that. Because what it sounds like when you say I am a Mormon, it sounds, so Spanish is the language of love. And the word amor is love in Spanish. So if you say I am a Mormon, it sounds like you're saying two languages talking about you're a man of love or a woman of love, a person of love. Maybe person's not the best word for it, but anyways. So, and anyway, but the church is very family oriented, surface wise. But man, they are, my folks don't ever call. You hear so many stories about people who don't invite family to Mormon marriages because they're held in the Mormon temple, an LDS temple, which is supposed to be, they say, the house of the Lord. But God says, come on, all you got to do is read scriptures, folks. Not that everything in scriptures are true, but God said his house would be a house of prayer. Not his house would be called the house of prayer, not the house of the Lord. And why did God say that? Because the Lord, right? So you can say folklore, like a fable. You can say Lord, like English lords. You could say so. But if you're talking about Jesus or God, it would be teacher, dad, God, love, things like that. But you would not say Lord. Just, anyways. So, very, on the surface, very family-oriented church, but they'll exclude family from things, and if you don't stay Mormon, you're not, you're just kind of an afterthought, and that's kind of what I am for my folks now, I guess. Not that they don't love me. I know my folks love me, but they just, like, love does certain things. Love is kind and patient. My mom didn't want to listen to me when I was going through some really difficult times in my life. She didn't want to be the friend there to listen, and that, at the time, I needed a friend because I didn't know a bunch of folks anyways. So I'm kind of in with my family stuff, man. That's all really weird. Like my life otherwise is starting to kind of, have some good things to it. I'm not anywhere financially where I want to be. I wouldn't, I needed to be doing much better financially, but, things are getting better. I'm not trying to overwork myself. I know they say, I talked to a guy today. I said, man, it seems like you're here all the time. Do you work every day, all day? And he goes, well, I work 6 days. And he works from like 10 to 10. So he has a life, but not much of one. You know, I mean, not much of one outside of work. Now maybe that's fine if that's where you want to be all the time. I don't know. I guess you can't make that judgment for other people. You can't. Maybe he just loves it there. You know, the world is